You are watching Kit Kabinet, and this is the inbox review of the Hasegawa Rufe and Jake combo in 1/72 scale. These are two older kits from Hasegawa that have been put together in a combo as a limited edition. So let's have a look inside. Okay, I can't get all the sprues into frame all at once. We'll start with the A6M2-N, this version of the famous Zero fighter, and it's the younger one of the two kits. This one is from the early 90s, I believe. And when we have a look, nice recessed panel lining, and basically this is a very nice little kit. One of the weaker points with these older Hasegawa kits are the interior and the wheel wells. Well, of course you don't have a problem with the wheel wells here, since this is the floatplane version, so that's half your problem solved. And the cockpit, in fact, in this one, the side walls are a bit empty, but at least there's some cockpit detail. We have a cockpit floor, we have a seat. The seat is not quite right for a Zero though, so I have to change that. It's supposed to be more straight, and it's supposed to have holes in the back of the seat. We have an instrument panel here, and the landing covers and the landing gear are actually still on this sprue, because this is actually the common sprue for the normal A6M2 and the A6M2N. A very nice looking engine. And as you can see, this kit features some nice crisp recessed panel lining. The canopy is looking good, nice transparent. It's a little bit frosty, but it can probably be solved with a bath of future. And the distortion, there's some distortion, but there's a lot of small windows there anyway, so you'll have a cluttered view of the cockpit anyway, so it won't be too bad. And a nice cowling. So this looks like a very nice and promising kit. And the instructions in Japanese and English, and your sprue map, and very clear and straightforward building instructions. It tells you to get 5 grams into the forward float so it won't tip on its tail, so very important, don't forget that. The schemes are basically the same, both from the seaplane tender Kamikawamaru. These were used near the Solomon Islands, as opposed to the other plane, the Jake, we'll see in a minute. Okay, I managed to get this kit into frame. It's the E13A1, the Jake. And this is the older one of the two kits. This one is from the early 70s, I believe. And you can see the difference quite quickly, because let's have a closer look here. This one has raised panel lines. Now the detail still looks very good on this one, despite the raised panel lining, but you can clearly see a bit of a difference in detail, in crispness. You can also see like the pilot looks very blobby, so you can see that this is clearly an older kit than the Rufe. And what's also a thing, of course, this plane isn't as famous as the Rufe or the Zero, and there are no no complete surviving examples of this one, at least of the A6M2N. There's still like some A6M2 zeros around, so that plane could be researched a lot better than this one. And if you compare this one to drawings or photographs, you might see some mistakes. And of course, this is a bit of an unknown plane. It's not as famous as the Zero or a Messerschmitt or whatever. So it's a bit tricky to determine how correct this plane is. But as a whole, the whole kit in itself looks, for its age, very, very nice. And of course, if you want to have the recessed panel lines and bring it like up to the same standard as the A6M2N, then you'll have to rescribe everything and maybe do a little bit of research to see if there are any discrepancies in the shape anywhere. And also the cockpit of this one is very old school Hasegawa. It's very basic, just a couple of seats in a tub. But remember, at the time that this was released, there were very few cockpits included in scale models at all. So this is, for that time, this is like highly detailed. The transparencies look okay, they're nice and transparent. They distort a little, and the canopy looks a bit more clunky than the quite crisp one of the A6M2N. But for its age, it looks very, very acceptable. Instruction sheet of the Jake, and it's basically the same type of jobby with your screw map, with your building instructions. And here you can see that the cockpit is like really very, very basic for this plane. But I don't even know if there's any reference material of this cockpit. Maybe you can find something online, I don't know. It's not the most well-known plane in the world. The color schemes also from the seaplane tender Kamikawamaru. This time near Indochina, where these planes were deployed. ZI-26 and ZI-23. The decal sheet. Yep, looking very good. There's not an awful lot of excess carrier film, except of course within the walkway borders here and between the stripes. So if you're like really bothered by that, you can cut it out. The rest looks nice, everything looks in register, no weird stuff. So, looking good. So, two older Hasegawa kits re-released. This one twice as old as this one. In fact, two fine seaplanes in one box.